If you want the Harry Potter books to land the way readers experience them, the order matters. J.K. Rowling wrote a modern fantasy series that starts as a warm school story and steadily grows more layered and demanding. Across 7 main novels, the reading experience shifts from short and fast to longer and more complex. The setting stays rooted in a hidden magical world that sits beside ordinary life, with a strong focus on school years, friendships, and escalating stakes. In this video, we will keep it beginner-friendly and spoiler-free. We will define what counts as the core canon for first-time readers. Then we will walk through the correct reading order, explain the name differences you may see on covers, and finish with what to treat as optional extras. We will also cover what not to start with, so you do not accidentally make the series feel confusing or flat. The simplest idea is this: read the 7 main novels first. That 7-book sequence is the complete story arc. Everything else is either a companion item, a reference-style book, or a script-based tie-in. If you are buying the books, you will see many editions, box sets, and cover styles. Do not worry about perfect collecting. For your first run, your goal is a clean reading path with rising difficulty and 0 homework. I will also mention small checks that help you confirm you have the right book in your hands, like the number on the spine in some sets, and the consistent pattern of titles. When you follow the core order, you get the intended pacing, the intended reveals, and the intended emotional weight, without needing any outside guides. The correct order for first-time readers is publication order. That means you read the main 7 novels in the order they were released. This is not one of those series where you should jump around for timeline reasons. Each book assumes you have read the ones before it. The tone grows gradually, the themes deepen, and the length increases. You may also notice a naming difference for the very first book. In many countries, it is titled Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. In the United States, the title was changed to Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone for the first US edition. The story is the same, only the title wording differs. So if you see Philosopher's Stone on a reading list and Sorcerer's Stone on a bookstore shelf, treat them as the same entry. Here is the core sequence you want to follow. 1. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, also known as Philosopher's Stone. 2. Chamber of Secrets. 3. Prisoner of Azkaban. 4. Goblet of Fire. 5. Order of the Phoenix. 6. Half-Blood Prince. 7. Deathly Hallows. If you are listening on audio, the same rule applies. Start at book 1 and keep going. If you are reading with a child, you can still stay in order. You just decide when to pause between books based on comfort, because later entries are heavier in mood and longer in page count. In the next sections, I will give you a short, spoiler-free sense of what each book contributes to the reading journey, so you know what to expect from pacing and tone without being told plot events. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. This is the entry point and the simplest version of the reading experience. It is shorter, it moves quickly, and it teaches the rules of the world in a way that feels natural. Read this first, even if you have seen the films. The book gives you the cleanest foundation for how the later novels build tension, deepen relationships. The chapters are bite-sized, the structure is clear, and the ending feels complete enough that you can stop if the series is not for you. If you are a parent or a returning reader, this is also the best test. Read book 1 with 0 pressure. If you enjoy the voice, the humor, and the steady sense of discovery, you will likely enjoy continuing. Practical tip: if you are choosing among editions, pick one you find readable and comfortable. The exact cover does not matter for your first run. What matters is that you are holding the correct first novel of the 7-book sequence, because this is the baseline that everything else assumes. When you finish, do not skip ahead, go straight to book 2. That is where the series starts training you to notice patterns and callbacks, and it starts the habit of reading each year in order. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. This is the second step, and it is where you learn how the series handles mystery and consequences. It is still beginner-friendly, but it begins to broaden the world beyond the initial setup. Read it immediately after the first book because it builds directly on what you already know. The author assumes you understand the core setting and the basic social landscape. From a reading experience perspective, this book often feels a little tighter and more investigative. You get more school year structure, more clues, and a clearer sense that events carry forward. If you are reading with younger readers, this is a common point where the mood becomes slightly more intense. That does not mean it stops being appropriate for many families. It just means the series is beginning its slow shift toward darker questions and higher stakes. Keep your focus on the order, not on side material. Some companion-style items borrow names from the wizarding world, and that can make beginners think there is required extra reading. There is not. Book 2 is part of the core chain, and it gives you the clearest next step after book 1. When you finish, continue to book 3. Do not insert optional extras here. You will get more value from those after you have completed the main arc, because you will recognize references without needing them to follow the story. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. This is the book many readers point to as the moment the series feels broader and more confident. It is still easy to read, but the storytelling starts to become more layered. The best reason to read it third is simple. It relies on the emotional groundwork of the first two books, and it also sets up ideas and tones that later books will build on. From a pacing standpoint, many people find this entry especially smooth. It often reads quickly despite being a bit longer because the scenes connect with strong momentum. If you are wondering whether the series grows up with the reader, this is a safe place to notice that change without being spoiled. The themes feel more complex, the world feels wider, and the style becomes less like a single mystery and more like a larger journey. One practical note for beginners. Because this is where the tone shift becomes noticeable, some people feel tempted to jump here first. Do not do that. You would lose the foundation that makes the later emotional payoffs work. After finishing Book 3, the next step is Goblet of Fire. That transition is important. Goblet of Fire is a clear increase in length and scope, and reading Book 3 first prepares you for that change without overwhelm. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. This is a major turning point in scale. The book is longer, the world feels bigger, and the series begins to lean into more sustained tension. Read it fourth. It is designed as the bridge from the earlier, more compact school year books into the longer, heavier second half of the saga. Many first-time readers notice the page count jump here. That can feel intimidating, but it is also part of why the series becomes so immersive. The extra space lets the author build atmosphere and let events breathe. If you are reading on a schedule, this is a good place to slow down without guilt. You do not need to rush. The best experience comes from letting the book unfold at a steady pace. Another beginner tip is format choice. If long books are hard for you in print, consider the audiobook for this entry. Staying in order matters more than the format you choose. Do not insert optional companion books before or during Goblet of Fire. The core story is now building momentum, and side material can interrupt that. When you finish, move directly to Order of the Phoenix. That next book continues the shift toward bigger themes and longer arcs, and it makes the most sense when the fourth book is fresh in your mind. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. This is the longest entry in the main 7, and it often feels like the first truly massive volume of the series. Read it fifth and expect a different rhythm. This book spends more time on atmosphere, pressure, and the feeling of being stuck in a difficult situation. That is intentional. If you reach this point and feel that the series is heavier than it was at the start, that is by design. The story is no longer only about discovery. It is also about endurance, uncertainty, and living through a tense period. This is a common friction point for new readers. Not because it is bad, but because it asks you to stay with a longer emotional stretch. Here is the practical rule that helps most people. Do not judge this book by speed. Judge it by clarity. Take it in small sessions, keep your place, and let the chapters do their work. If you are reading the series for the first time, this is also where spoilers online become more common. So it can be worth avoiding wikis and comment threads until you are done with the main 7. After finishing, go to Half-Blood Prince next. That 6th book often feels more focused after the sprawl of Book 5, and reading them in order makes that contrast satisfying. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. This is Book 6, and it is often remembered for being more concentrated after the previous volume. It is still substantial, but many readers find the pacing feels smoother and the focus feels sharper. Read it 6th because it depends on what the earlier books have established, especially the larger context that builds across books 4 and 5. For first-time readers, the key mindset is that you are approaching the final stretch. You do not need any companion books to prepare. You only need the main sequence in order. If you are collecting editions, this is also a good point to stay consistent. Using one edition style across the final books can help you keep momentum, because the typography and formatting remain familiar. That is not required, but it is a small friction reducer. Keep your attention on finishing the core arc before chasing extras. Many people see other Wizarding World titles and assume they are prerequisites. They are not. They are best enjoyed later, as rewards, once you can recognize the small details they reference. When you finish Book 6, do not take a detour. Move directly to Deathly Hallows. These two books function like a paired ending. Reading them back-to-back preserves the intended momentum and helps you avoid spoilers that are common in general conversation about the series. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. This is the 7th and final novel in the core sequence. Read it last, and treat it as the conclusion that ties together the long build of the earlier books. The reading experience here is different from the early school year rhythm. It is more continuous, and it is designed to pay off long-running threads. Because it is the final book, it is also the place where spoilers are most common in the culture. So if you care about reading fresh, this is the moment to avoid summaries, timelines, and fan discussions until you are done. You do not need any extra reading to understand this book. If you read the first 6 in order, you have everything required. One helpful practical note: if you are reading slowly, consider breaking the book into a few planned sessions. Not because it is confusing, but because it is emotionally dense for many readers. Spacing your reading can help you keep clarity and enjoyment. After you finish Deathly Hallows, you have completed the core canon reading journey that most people mean when they say they read Harry Potter. Only after this point does it make sense to explore optional extras, because now those extras feel like bonus world building instead of interruptions. Optional extras after the main 7. At this point, you may want a little more time in the world without committing to another long novel. That is where the companion-style items can fit. The Tales of Beedle the Bard. This is a small collection presented as in-world stories. Think of it as a light add-on that can be read in short sittings. It is not required for understanding the main series. It works best as a palate cleanser after you finish the core arc. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. The original screenplay. This is not a traditional novel. It is a screenplay, so the reading experience is very different. You will see dialogue and scene directions rather than standard prose. For many beginners, screenplay format feels faster but also less immersive because it is built for performance rather than narration. That is why I recommend it only after the 7 novels. If you are deciding what to buy, the most evergreen and widely satisfying purchase is still the 7-book set. The extras are optional and should be chosen based on your preferred reading format. If you love the core books in print, Beedle the Bard is a nice short follow-up. If you enjoy scripts or theater-style reading, the Fantastic Beasts screenplay can be an interesting change of pace. The key principle is that these extras are rewards. They are not stepping stones. Treat them as small side doors you can open when you are already confident in the main path. What not to start with. And the simplest final recommendation. If you are a first-time reader, do not start with companion books or screenplays. They assume you already care about the world, and they do not teach you how the series works. Starting there can make the franchise feel flat or confusing because you miss the gradual build that makes the main books so effective. Do not start by searching for timelines, expanded canon lists, or reading guides that try to splice in extras between the 7 novels. That approach is for collectors and repeat readers. For beginners, it adds friction and increases the chance you stop early. The best evergreen path is still the simplest. Start with Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, also known as Philosopher's Stone. Then read the next 6 novels in publication order. If you are unsure whether you will finish the whole series, give yourself a low-pressure rule. Read book 1. If you like it, read book 2. Then decide again. This keeps the commitment small and makes the series approachable. If you are choosing formats, pick the one you will actually finish. Print, ebook, and audiobook all work, as long as you stay in order. And if you want the easiest shopping approach for Amazon later, look for a boxed set of the 7 core novels in one consistent edition. That minimizes confusion and keeps the covers consistent with your links. Recap in one sentence: for first-time readers, the correct Harry Potter reading order is the 7 main novels in publication order, and the extras come only after you finish the core arc.